Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? So today I want to share something with you guys here. So I was looking at my car and you see this, the lower spoiler piece right here, you know, the part I put on. I noticed it's coming undone here. If you see it, I'll kind of show you this angle here, right there. I'm thinking, you know, I heated the tape up, everything like that, and it normally holds really well. So I was kind of shocked that it's coming out. And then I noticed that side too, it's coming out. So that had me thinking, what's going on here? So I put my hand underneath it, and when I'm grabbing right here, there's like dirt falling out of it. It's like dirt shoved in underneath here. Let me turn the light on, see if you guys can see it. Okay, let's see. You can see that? So I'm not gonna say who, but somebody borrowed my car and they parked it too far in a parking space where, you know how you have the dirt, like the median, and it scraped it. If you can see it, where is it? Right there. Scraped this little spoiler piece and it put dirt all up inside here, and it's wedged in between. So now it won't sit flush anymore because there's dirt wedged in there. So kind of bummed. You can even see right here, scrape the actual paint. At least you don't see it, but easy to do because these cars are so low. I mean, from the factory. But I was just wondering, just by looking at them, thinking that's weird. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this because, for one, I don't want dirt shoved behind here because it's gonna scratch the paint, you know, because it vibrates all the time. And I'll leave it off, and then if I feel like it, I'll just put more tape, double-sided tape, and reapply it. But I want to show you guys the easiest way to remove this. You know, like if you just take right here and pull on this, you can. But what will probably happen is the double-sided tape will transfer onto the paint. And if it breaks off, then you're going to be using your nail and trying to scrape little pieces. So if you use a heat gun from this edge and heat this up here, actually heat this outside up. You don't have to get down here because you definitely want to stay away from this, but just heat this up and keep pulling and follow it with the heat gun down as you're pulling this side out. It'll make this so warm that the tape will just come right off. Real easy, so you don't have to do all this cleanup after, picking up little pieces of tape. If you guys ever taken the 3M tape off when it's cold, it like leaves little pieces everywhere. Then you're scraping it off with your nail. It's a pain. So I want to show you the easiest way to do that. And I'm hoping that the dirt underneath here didn't scratch up the bumper. So that's a little bummer, but things happen. And like I said, easier to do with this car because it's so low compared to like my 16 Sport I had. It wasn't this low on the bottom, being factory. So you guys that are lowered, I mean, you must be really careful or you do scrape them because it's inevitable when you have the medians, you know, the little parking, the bumps there. So I'll go ahead and get the heat gun out and I'll walk you step by step. It's pretty basic, but this way, if you guys have to take anything off, like this grill here, if you didn't like it, you know, anything with double-sided tape, the heat is what makes it easy. I've done it the other way, and it's like, it makes it a big job trying to take the tape off. So let me go get that gun and let's get started. So guys, all you're gonna need is this heat gun here to make it easier to pull this trim off. I'm not even gonna use any trim tools or anything. So it's gonna make it as easy as possible. No worry about scratching the paint underneath or anything like that. And if you don't have a heat gun, a blow dryer will work. If you don't have that, hopefully you can leave it in the sun for a while and that will soften the glue or the tape, because if not, it'll probably break the little spoiler piece you're trying to take off. Okay, so right here, I'm just gonna heat it up really good. And then as you heat it, just work your way. I just chose this edge because it's the easiest. And I apply the heat, quite a bit of heat right on it, because I'm not really concerned about the finish on the actual car because I'm not using the heat on that. So if I mess this little spoiler piece up, I don't really care. But I do want to take it off so I can reuse it down the road. So here I'm just applying it. As you can see, it's just pulling away. But the heat does it. If you pull without using the heat, it'll snap. So again, I have it on the high setting too. Be careful when you're doing this too. I should have probably had gloves on, but it does get really hot. I can feel behind it. The heat's really building up, so just be careful with that. So I'm just going to work my way down this side here, and then as you get it toward the edge, you can just pop the whole thing off. But the key to this is just nice and slow and just work the tape off. And hopefully doing it this way, the tape won't be stuck on the car. So you don't have to worry about cleaning up all the residue and all that. So as you can see, it's almost all the way off here. And that maybe took me a minute to do. So just work it all the way down. And like I said, no heat gun, not a problem. Just use a blow dryer, or make sure you do it on a warm day. It'll just make it easier. You know, if you don't care too much about saving the spoiler piece, you could just pull it and it'll snap off, I'm sure. But I might want to go back to putting this on. You know, I might leave it off for a little bit, see what I think. So same thing, I'm just heating the edge up here just to help that pull away, since that's the skinniest side here. See, we have it almost off. And same thing, just keep the heat on it. And I'm applying it pretty close, as you can see, and it's not messing up the finish either. You just don't want to park in one section for longer than a couple seconds, because it will almost melt the plastic. Especially heat gun on the high setting, it gets extremely hot. So I think I can do this with no more heat. Let's see here. Again, just brace it behind it so you don't snap the edge off, and just pull. And it's almost all the way off here. A couple more tugs on this edge and it should release. There we go. All one piece, didn't crack it, didn't mess it up, so you could reuse it. If you see the back here, you see the tape stayed on the plastic. This is what you want. If you do it when it's cold, it's going to stay probably on the paint of the car. And then that'll just make more cleanup. So let me show you here a little close up. As you can see here, didn't damage it. So it just needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but didn't scar it up or nothing like that. No scratches. I was a little nervous because the dirt got in behind it. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and I'll show you the rest of it. Okay guys, so I went ahead and pulled the rest. Didn't want to bore you too much. And just cleaned it up really good. As you can see, there's not one mark on it. And I'm kind of liking it. I don't know if I'm going to put it back on, but I do like how it looks. I don't know. Sometimes I think that little spoiler piece was a little too much. Like plastic, you know, glued to the front. Kind of takes away from it. I do like the natural curve of the car. And you can see right here, if you look, check that out, that's where it's scraped up. So, I mean, it did protect the bottom of the bumper a little bit. But the bottom of the bumper did get scraped a tad, but you can't see it. So, pretty basic. And here's the middle piece here. And this has a little scrape on it too, if you can see that. So it did, I guess, kind of protect the actual bumper a little bit. But there are the three pieces, all came off. Didn't damage them. It'll make it easy. If you want to put it back, just put more double-sided tape. Same thing. Stick it back on, it's good to go. So you don't have to spend another, you know, 40, 50 bucks to get a replacement. So guys, I just wanted to share that with you. You know, it was a kind of bad situation, but then again, it's like, gives you an opportunity to see how to take it off and how it doesn't damage it. So if you guys put it on and worried underneath how it's going to be a year later when you take it off, it doesn't do anything to it. So hope everyone enjoyed that, and I will talk to you guys next time.